Hey everybody, happy January. I hope you're doing all right, taking it easy for the start of the new year. I feel like I haven't checked in with you in a little while. We'll see, this is probably the first clips of January, if you will. I have been keeping busy. My body has been keeping busy and keeping me a little bit sick. I am feeling, this is what, day 4 of being sick again. I find that this school year, my immune system has not been winning it. Since the start of the school year in September, I have already caught COVID twice. And then gotten the flu once. Right now, I think I'm just getting over a cold. So, like, I've been sick 4 times already in the school year. That seems excessive. But we're on the mend, finally, and it is the weekend. So I figured maybe we go and do something. I come check in, say hello. I wonder what you're up to, beginning of 2025. I find January tends to be a little bit slow, and just right before I popped on here, I was kind of getting myself washed up and ready. I was just thinking like, geez, I haven't really filmed any clips for this year, but also it's like the middle of January, but not a whole lot has happened. It hasn't been a very eventful January, if you will, but I have been sick for most of the week, so that's 1 week out the window. But we are getting some good sun today, which is great. And so I figured we might actually head outside. So coming into the end of last year in December, Mr. B has decided that he wants to get into or get back into some RCs, so remote control cars. And he's the type of guy that once he decides on something, he's like all in. He's not really like me, where I'm much more, I guess, cautious and I do a lot of research and I kind of dip my toe in slowly. I think it's just, difference in personalities, but he is all in. So all of a sudden, we've got a bunch of RCs in the apartment. And he got me a little one too. Not that I asked for one, but I think that's his way of sharing the love, if you will. So I think with us getting a bit of sun around town today, we're gonna maybe find a place to go race our little cars for a little bit. Now, this is coming from your girl, who you probably know over the years does not drive. So this whole thing for me is just, I bash around like a little raging squirrel is how I like to think about it. But it is fun. He got me a little teal and pink one. I'll show you maybe once we're out at the tracks. We've been trying to look for some places that just doesn't have too many, like either it's a proper track for racing and bumping your car, little RC cars around, or somewhere where you just won't really get in people's way. We've taken it to a couple of just random parks, but you don't want to scare the dogs and stuff like that, or the children. Yes. I wonder if you have something to look forward to in this new year, the beginning of the new year. I didn't really settle on any great plans or resolutions, if you will. I can't remember if I made a video last year. I might have. But I think right now, with a lot of things on the horizon, I just want to have a solidly calm, good year. And that feels like good enough for me. I'm going to do a little blush. This is Glossier Cloud Paint. Did I mention this in the last video? Maybe I have. I've been getting a bit more back into makeup and exploring some new things. Certainly I am a creature of habit. I like what I like, but I've been looking for some new looks and some new routines. So once in a while, I've been buying a couple items here and there, but we've collectively have some big purchases to save up for. So I've also been trying to ration it out and be good. With that being said, though, you know, what's going to come up real soon is my friendiversary shopping. I've got a friend of mine whom around my spring break every year, just because it's a little easier for us to coordinate times, we will go for a friendiversary shopping, and it's usually a little bit more high-end. We'll hit up all the fancy stores in town. We'll go, you know, have a nice lunch or do high tea. It's quite fun, actually. I look forward to it every year. So I don't know how many years of friendship it's been now this year, but if you follow the vlogs, it's the same thing. But definitely something to look forward to. And I try and stash away a little bit of funds throughout the year so we can go spend it in March. So all that is coming up. I already know there's one thing I want. I got a little sample. Do I even still have it? I might. I have a sample of this Hermes lips. No, not Hermes. Oh my gosh, Louboutin. There we go. Lipstick, because they've got like a beauty range. You know, the shoe people now made like makeup. They sell in the fancy schmancy whole brand few, but I got a little one of those lipstick samples. And you know what? Let me see if I can get it for you. Let me hold on. Okay, we're just gonna put it on since we're getting our makeup anyways. I got one of these little lipstick samples, right? And usually I can't be bothered to tote it around with me, but when I put it on, I really liked this color. The color is called Dune Kiss, and it is a Christian Louboutin branded lipstick. I think it's part of their Satin lipstick collection, but it's so pretty. Let's see if I can get in here. It's like that, you know, everybody talks about the Your Lips But Better color. Yeah, this is the one. So I've got like the dinky little brush, but I think I'm actually going to spend on this one during our little friendiversary shopping. Kind of hard to do in front of the phone camera. I really should have brought in the actual mirror, but I love this color. There you go. Lipstick is on. Sunscreen, eyebrows, blush, lipstick. I think that's all we're gonna do today. Anyway, I am really looking forward to getting this. I've been trying to keep like my little bullet sample, and I don't know what it is. It doesn't even smell nice, so to speak. Like, it's non-fragranced, and I'm not necessarily into the whole Louboutin packaging. They have very elaborate, ornate packaging, but something about the color just really works for my skin. So that is on the wish list, along with a couple other things. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure that will, like, the spring, well, technically we're winter, but the winter / spring always passes so quickly. Term 2 is gonna fly by this time I talk to you in like 4 weeks. I'm gonna start having to write report cards again. Like, term 2 just really picks up at work, and then term 3 is sort of winding our way down, and then another school year is over. I feel like this year is going to go by really quickly, so I do want to make sure I take the time to savor all the little moments and not miss out on anything, if you will. Yeah, I've been keeping it pretty low-key this January. What about you? What have you been up to? Take a pause and drop me a comment, and I'm going to get ready to see you out somewhere in a track. Maybe, hopefully, but maybe groceries first. We'll see. I'll see you outside. we're just out here on the track and it is really, really cold. My fingers are frozen. And actually the mud is mixed in with ice. So it's fun, but also very muddy and slippery. And should not have worn my Converse. Didn't think that through, but there's going to be a lot of washing up once we get home. But I think probably, are we going to do groceries first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do groceries first. And then a lot of washing up once we get home because everything is covered in mud. Clearly, your girl doesn't drive. And I have no intentions of learning to drive anytime soon. I just keep bashing into the guardrails, as you'll see, or you've seen in the clips. I try to catch a couple clips for you guys because it's, it's sort of fun, it's different, but it's really hard to set up your camera somewhere but then like drive into the frame because I keep just bashing into the guardrails. However, it was a good afternoon, got a little bit of sun in this cold January, and now everybody's gonna go home and get washed up, including me. I've got mud everywhere. Met a couple people at the track, which is nice. It seems to be like we've been here twice now, two, 3 times. Yeah, sometimes there's like, dads with their kids. Well, it's usually dads with their kids, but I'm just here for the ride. Anyways, I will see you all later when we're nice and cozy. Hello, it is February, and at this point, I can't even remember if we did an introduction to Feb or not. If I have, then let's do it again. If I haven't, then welcome to February, which is actually a really hard word to say. I have been getting into 2025 slowly and cautiously. Slowly, partially because I have been sick again and again and again. A lot more than usual. This school year seems to have been like my year just to be down and out all the time. I think since the start I've been sick with various things at least 4 times, if not 5. I'm just getting over some kind of a cough flu thing. And I have enough of a voice that I thought we'd just come and chat and see how everybody's doing out there. I've been trying to put a bit more kind of chatty moments into these vlogs, and I'm hoping to continue this for 2025. Those of you who a while ago, I guess, have commented and kind of shared what you prefer, I hope this jazzes up the vlogs a little bit. Of course, I do try and have other content in between the vlogs, but the vlogs are just what really drives my day-to-day, because these are the things that happen day-to-day, and I don't always get anything too exciting, to talk about otherwise. But I thought today we would talk about a few of my favorite things. I believe the last clip, or the last couple of clips you've seen, we were out in downtown, and of course, whenever I'm in downtown, I try and make a trip to Dressew. I feel like every time I go, the days are numbered. As of now, they haven't officially said anything about whether or not they've been bought out, or, the end is actually near. But I know they're in the market to sell their location and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, the other day I took a full kind of outing trip with no other plans, just to browse the shops and see what I can find. I have been a little slow in my sewing lately and haven't been quite as motivated as I usually like to be or think that I am. It's cold. As I'm speaking to you, behind the camera, behind the window, is just snow. Just snow. I thought we made it through December pretty good, and then February hit and we just got dumped into snow for, Vancouver West Coast terms. And I think it's going to be like that for another couple of weeks. We're easily, what feels like -10 most days for the last week and a half. Unfortunately, we haven't had a snow day yet, but I'm still hopeful there might be one in the horizon, sort of. These days, I'm really just trying to keep warm and cozy, so sweatshirts all the time. I'm not even really getting dressed up for work. I look like one of the children, and I'll just have to live with that until it warms up. But I do want to show you a couple of lovely things I picked up from the shop, Dressew, one of my favorite stores. They've been around these parts. And always some goodies. I have made a couple of things on my fall/winter to sew list to makes, but some of them we're just gonna kind of put them to the side because I gotta start sewing for the new season for spring and summer. I am such a slow maker that nothing is ever gonna get done to the point I can wear them unless I start like at least half a season ahead of time. But with that said though, I could not resist this discounted wool blend fabric. I had my colors done maybe about half a year to maybe a year ago. That video is still somewhere in the archives. I gotta dig it up and keep working on it. But since getting my colors done, I've been trying to be a bit more selective about the clothing colors and fabric choices I'm picking to create my garments, because you really want to have a cohesive type of wardrobe. And really warm colors are technically not in my palette. However, I feel like this is not too warm, and the choices for this wool blend was either this medium camel color or black. But I thought black was a little too harsh, so camel it is. This is, oh, I took a picture of it. I want to say it's probably 60-70% wool, and then the rest is like nylon or polyester. In the grand scheme of things, I've come to the realization that it's not really necessary to do full wool all the time. Oftentimes it's quite heavy, it has certain limitations, you know, with washing and whatnot. But when you have a wool blend with a higher wool content, you get a lot more flexibility in your fabric and being able to launder it. Like I threw this into the wash and hope for the best in pre-shrinking. And I actually don't think it shrunk very much at all. It definitely smells like wool. It has that particular scent. It's not a knit fabric, I don't think. No, I lie. It is a knit fabric, but it doesn't have too much of a stretch. Oh, sounds like the police. Can you hear them in the back? I'm not sure. So this is a wool blend with a high concentration of wool. I'm thinking some kind of a coat or a cardigan. Do I need more cardigans in my life? Probably not, but I am such a sucker for a good cardigan. I'm hoping to make something up from this before we warm up again, so I still have a little bit of time to wear it. I think it'd be nice in the spring too, with some spring colors. And I've got, I want to say maybe $1.5 meters. It was a really good price. I want to say maybe $12.50. Definitely under $15 a meter, and that's a deal you cannot beat. In the thoughts of making some spring garments, I purchased some rayon / viscose. Same thing, comes from trees depending on where you're buying it. The names are a little different. It's a much more breathable fabric. It's very swishy. This one is like a grown-up spin on polka dots. I want to say it's like splotches instead of polka dots, but it still has that similar effect. I'm hoping to make a top of some kind. In the summertime, I feel like my top choices are so limited. And every single year I tell myself I'm going to make a couple for work, and I never quite get there. I think once I find my go-to pattern, it will become a reality. This is probably a high amount of viscose and a little bit of spandex because I feel like there's a little bounce back here. But beautiful fabric. Hopefully it doesn't wrinkle too much. Usually the stretch and the spandex help with less wrinklage. Then I'm hoping that this will turn into a dress. I've got a thing for animal print fabric or abstract prints. And again, it's not really in my style profile, if you will, from when I had my colors and my style analyzed. But I could not resist this. I feel like this is certainly more autumnal than spring. However, with the right combination, I think I could still make it work. I just think the pattern is so lovely, and in any other place, you would pay loads for fabric like this. They had recently put this in the clearance aisle, so I believe this was like $5 a meter, and I bought 2 meters. So hopefully enough for a dress of some kind. I'm thinking if I could make something in time for my student's graduation at work, maybe I'll wear that. It's a little bit of an inside running joke that I wear the same dress every year to the grade 7 like graduation ceremony, if you will. So maybe this year I would make something new and I'll have something different when the kids want to take pictures together. Along with that, I have also picked up a couple of little knick-knack accessories. First off, can I show you how cute this is? Not like, is it licensed? Yes, licensed. Super cute. Oh, come on, focus. Star Wars patch. This is a stick-on / iron-on. I got this for Mr. B to help snazz up a sweatshirt that has seen better days and he wants to zhuzh it up a little bit. He doesn't really like the logo and stuff that's on it. So I'm going to put this on there and do a little DIY upgrades. I thought this was adorable. He's currently really into, his new thing is RCs and yeah, like RCs of various kinds. And he does have like a little plane that he's been trying to get some air time and fly time logged. So I thought that was pretty cute when I saw it. But mostly for myself, I picked up a couple of iron-on, I guess, are they even called stickers? Iron-on motifs is what they're calling it. I've got one that's like a horn for sort of cheerleading. Maybe you can see that, maybe. I've got some letters. And these were a great price at like 25 cents per pack. So I felt like since I've been more into DIY stuff, maybe these will come in handy. I was really hoping, and this has been on my to-do list for a while now, I've been hoping to make some kind of a jersey for when I go to Whitecaps games with my brother. Usually I am the plan B or the plan C because he's really into soccer, and sometimes he'll have tickets and nobody to go with, so his sister is his backup plan. And he usually lends me his jerseys, which is fine, but I don't love the way those, you know, standard jerseys feel. Like they're jersey sporty fabrics, but I feel like we could do better. I also don't know if putting Whitecaps on a jersey that's not licensed is infringement on copyright. I'll have to see. I'll have to like look around and see what is okay to do DIY wise. But I want something that's like team sporty when I go to the games, but doesn't feel like, you know, that stuff. Anyway, that's our little mini haul. This kind of stuff have been boosting my mood lately. I'm trying to do little things to keep the morale up in these cold, dreary weeks and days. And the bright thing is though that the sky has been getting brighter earlier, so that's been feeling a little bit better. You're not going off to work in the miserable dark, and you're not coming back home in the miserable dark. But I do think another week or two it will be that daylight saving stuff ending, so we'll have to jump again. I hope that you're doing all right in the middle of February. My goal this year is really to get these vlogs up more closer to when they're filmed. So with any luck, you might actually see this in March. Anyway, I've got some tea boiling. I'm gonna go drink some of that, and I'll catch you later. Maybe for Valentine's.
Coke and the Pepsi is a bit different.
Sure. I was trying to cook enough for your lunch and my lunch.
Should be fine. I think it'll be enough.
Okay. I thought so because I'm still getting used to like cooking like more portions. But I know it's a little easier if I can like if I'm cooking anyways. Happy weekend. It is Saturday. I figure we do a little chat while I pop the groceries back where they need to go. I have just gotten home. Actually, Mr. B dropped me off because he is off to practice his mini car racing. I'll talk more about that in a second. But we did some groceries at the Korean supermarket. Nowadays, we've been going there a lot more than, say, Superstore. We'll go to Costco once in a while, but it's really sort of like we'll rotate. When you go to Costco, you get the big ticket items, right? But you don't need them every single week, even for like 2 people. So we'll do like a Costco run, and then the next time we'll do like a Superstore or like an Asian supermarket run, so kind of space things out in between. But he got all packed up. We went grocery shopping together. And then he took all his stuff and he's off to the track, I guess. You might have seen in clips here and there that he's been getting into mini car racing. I think they're called mini Zs. I don't really know what it stands for, but it's been keeping him pretty busy. And he's the type of guy who he's like an all or nothing kind of a hobby enthusiast. So he's either all in or he's not into it. So at the moment, it is these like RC cars, but in particular mini Z cars. They're like maybe this big, and you race them around these I guess tracks, if you will, indoor tracks, and there's competitions and stuff. So he's been trying to get his track time so you can enter a couple of competitions. It's all fun and games. And for the most part, I'm pretty happy to have some just some like independent time. I find being the type of personality, an introvert that I am, like the space and time that I need, it's often a little tricky to have someone who's a lot more high energy and in your face, in your space all the time. So that's something I've been trying to get used to, but also finding ways to work around. Anyway, groceries are mostly done, which is nice. I haven't decided what's for dinner yet. I feel like nowadays, most of my time is spent deciding what we're gonna eat and what can I make that can then be brought for lunch the next day. A lot of day-to-day life revolves around cooking or finding the right foods to cook or this or that. But I am really excited to have a couple of hours alone for a change of pace. I think also, though, the difference is that Mr. B works from home. So his social meter is so much different than mine. And I work at a school where my social meter is completely depleted at the end of the day. And I'm often seeking that calm, peaceful refuge at the end of the day or on my weekend. So I'm happy to have a couple hours to myself, but gotta make sure he still comes back when he's supposed to. I will have a think about dinner. Oh, speaking of food, I really want to recommend this to you. I was going to talk about it in another clip earlier in the vlogs, but I ran out because we ate them all. But this is really delicious. It is a Japanese style salad seasoning. I don't know how popular it is. I've seen it at a couple of Asian supermarkets, so I guess reasonably popular. This is called the Arabiki Golden Aroma Dressing, and it's made in Japan, so it's an imported product.
It's a sesame style dressing, but it's really delicious with just like a simple Costco salad or whatever. I've been trying to eat a bit more raw greens. It's not my favorite. I don't dislike vegetables. I'm just not into the raw foods, like just the way I was brought up in my palates and whatnot. But sometimes it's just easier. So this has been making salads much more palatable. Loving this. So I got another one of those. Anyway, I am looking forward to probably filming a video in a little bit after I tidy up the kitchen a smidgen. I really want to talk about spring sewing plans. I'm quite a bit excited about that. The weather is not quite there yet, but there were hints of sunshine, so that certainly boosts the winter mood. We've got another couple of weeks until winter officially ends. I believe maybe end of March or so, and by that time I'll be on my spring break, which is very exciting. And of course, spring break is also the time I get to get together with one of my friends and do like a friend shopping, friend anniversary. If you've been watching over the last couple of years, you'll know this is like a yearly tradition, which is always super fun, and I look forward to that. But I want to talk about some spring sewing. I might actually get to do some sewing. I had told my mom that I make her some joggers, like, you know, cold weather joggers, and the cold weather is almost coming to an end and I haven't finished the joggers yet, so I'll probably work on that a little bit as well. But either way, probably just some calm music, a little time to myself, finish up the coffee that I left over there, and yeah, it's nice to have a little peace and quiet, if you will. Those of you who have big families or, you know, live with a roommate or a partner or something like that, I'm sure you can appreciate these moments of just everybody's doing their own business, and it's nice to have some time like that to myself. So I will see you probably at dinner time, or maybe a few clips in between.
There's a chance for a snow day tomorrow. Yeah. Come on, snow day. Time to go home. Yes. Yeah, the cube for the queen, right? I said, pull that away. Is that the king?